Metra, America's busiest heritage railway, carrying commuters to and from Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. While most Metra lines are 30 to 40 miles long, some, like the 63.2-mile Union Pacific Northwest line, stretch deep into the exurbs. But what if there was more? Considering every great empire at one point attempted to expand their reach and influence across the world, it makes sense Metra would do the same. Most Metro lines have had an extension considered at one point, including Metra's busiest and most fun to mispronounce, the BNSF line. An extension into Kendall County past Aurora is already in the planning stage, with almost $5 million being secured for the environmental impact statement. The line would stretch almost 20 more miles southwest, with potential stations in Montgomery, Oswego, Yorkville, Plano, and Sandwich. The extension is estimated to cost between $400 and $700 million. Out of all the potential extensions in this video, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning says this is the most cost-effective, and there is strong support from local groups. In fact, studies were completed as early as 2001, showing that Metro service in the region would be beneficial. Another extension of the BNSF line to Sugar Grove was mentioned, although that likely won't happen since the other extension is underway. There could maybe be a Union Pacific Northwest sort of situation where there's a small branch at the end, but I doubt it. Speaking of Union Pacific, an extension of the UP West line from Elburn to DeKalb is also being studied, with a feasibility study being completed in May 2023. The study found that over 10,000 people travel daily between DeKalb County and points along the UP West line. The extension would provide a one-seat ride between Illinois' largest state school without rail service and the state's largest city. I think this extension would be massively beneficial to the city and the university, and no, I'm not biased. A decades-old proposal to build a third Chicagoland airport south of the city could see Metra's most electrifying line extend to serve the airport. This airport would be built near the current terminus of the University Park branch of the line, although if this website is any indication, I would say this proposal has long been in limbo and probably won't be built anytime soon. In the meantime, I would recommend extending the line farther south, along Route 50 into Monee, Peotone, Manteno, and the Kankakee-Bradley-Bourbonnais metro area. Although this extension would add about 20 to 25 miles to the line, it would still be shorter than the Union Pacific Northwest line, which also stretches beyond Chicagoland. While I don't think it's at all likely, this extension would supplement Amtrak service in Kankakee and connect smaller communities to Chicagoland. Plus, it'd make the University Park branch not end in the middle of nowhere. Speaking of ending in the middle of nowhere, the Southwest service. It currently terminates in Manhattan, Illinois, and while it fills a gap in suburban rail service, I honestly don't see any feasible or reasonable extensions of the line. For starters, the tracks the line runs on end shortly after the station in Manhattan, so any extension would require new tracks to be laid. Plus, any community the line could extend to I think could be easier served by a different line. Which leads us to Metra's forgotten child, who wins a participation trophy for existing. Despite its anemic schedule, an extension of the Heritage Corridor to Wilmington has been considered, most likely following the route of Amtrak's Lincoln Service and Texas Eagle. Extending the line to Wilmington, and potentially Braidwood, would provide rail service to these communities, while Amtrak continues on to Dwight and beyond. Of course, any extension of the line would need to be combined with an extension of the schedule. The Union Pacific Northwest line is the longest line in Metra's system, and like the Southwest service, I don't see any real obvious or feasible places for it to extend to. Just give McHenry more service and we'll leave it at that. Metra's Milwaukee District North line has 6 stations with Lake in the name, and I think we should increase that number. An extension to Richmond near the Wisconsin border has been considered, but I think if that happens, the line should go ahead and extend to Lake Geneva, connecting the popular resort city with Chicagoland, with additional stops in Pell Lake and Spring Grove. This extension unfortunately runs into the same problem as before, where there's no current right-of-way. The tracks the line run on turn west at Spring Grove, so a new track would have to be laid. However, I feel like the benefits of this extension would at least make the upfront costs worth it. An extension to the line to Wadsworth was also considered. This would be accomplished by adding a branch to the line that continues north at Rondout. The other Milwaukee District line has also had a few extensions considered to Hampshire or Marengo. The latter will actually happen as part of a larger extension all the way to Rockford, although it's been hinted that this would actually be a separate intercity service operated by Metra, instead of just an extension to the Milwaukee District West line. An extension of Metra's Rock Island line down to Minooka has been considered, although I would recommend extending it all the way down to Morris. This could supplement a potential new intercity route from Chicago to Peoria. The Union Pacific North Line is already pretty solid, although an extension to Racine could be beneficial. Amtrak's Hiawatha passes to the west of the city through Sturtevant, so this could provide downtown Racine with rail service. Screw it, extend the Union Pacific North to Milwaukee. I want to see gallery cars and screaming F-40s rolling through the Cream City, damn it! Last but not least, although it is close, the North Central service currently ends in Antioch. I could see an extension to Burlington passing through Silver Lake being useful, albeit with a more robust schedule. A lot of the considered extensions mentioned in this video have been listed by the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning as unconstrained projects. Basically, projects that either would be too expensive to complete at the moment, or would need more study. It's unlikely most of these will materialize, especially my fantasy extensions, but it's fun to dream. And while we're on the topic of unconstrained projects, where are my 5-minute Metra frequencies?